Okay, we're live on YouTube. All right, everybody out in YouTube land, as you know, we always start the program off and you don't get the same information or same music, if you will, when you go on Facebook Live. So now we're Facebook Live. You got your phone there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, check on Facebook, make sure we're live. I left mine on. Okay, cool. All right. Hadn't been on in a while. I just wanted to make sure everything is working. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the ground. Welcome to the ground. Wow. Welcome to Ear to the Ground 197. I am your host, Bryan Foley. And we want to welcome everybody this morning to Ear to the Ground 197. I have in the studio today, I have First Ward Representative, City Council Person, Bryan Jones Chance. And you probably heard me say, welcome to the ground, because that's how long I've been off the air for a little while. I haven't broadcast in a minute or two. Was highly involved with the Johnny Lawrence Summer Jazz Concert Series out in Ypsilanti Township. And we were getting home on Friday night, sometimes real late. And so just was tired and kind of just didn't do the programs, was real busy. It was a real busy summer. And so kind of put the broadcast to the side for a minute. And I don't like that because a lot of people really kind of depend on this platform to get information out that deals with our community. And that's why we have Bryan Jones Chance on here this morning. So we want to welcome everybody on this Saturday morning, college football Saturday. We know the games are coming on. We know people getting prepared. So there's probably not a lot of people going to be tuning in, but that's the beauty of Facebook and YouTube, that you can read these things later on. And while I'm speaking of that, the Saturday morning, 11 o'clock hour, I'm thinking about changing the date and the time for the broadcast. So if anybody has any suggestions of date and times that they would like to see broadcast, then put them in the comment box and give us suggestions. But anyway, Ear to the Ground 197 is brought to you by Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, located in downtown Ypsilanti, owned by Athena Johnson and Kip Johnson. Speaking of Athena and Kip, Athena just left out here this morning. She came in, I had a music stand, and she made sure that I got that back to her. Also by Carlos Franklin and his lovely wife, Andrea Franklin. Blackstone Bookstore and Cultural Center, located in beautiful downtown Ypsilanti. Also brought to you by Tracy Sweet Touch Production. We haven't had too many gifts, too many items put back on to give to our guests lately because, like I said, Tracy was real busy over the summer. I was busy over the summer doing this and a lot of other things. But we're going to get right into it. And I want to thank my guest, my First Ward Representative of Ypsilanti, South Side representative, if you will. And the first ward totally encompasses a lot more than the South Side of Ypsilanti. Let's get there together first. There's 3 precincts out there. First, second, and third precincts. South Side of Ypsilanti encompasses pretty much ward. The South Side of Ypsilanti. Let me slow down. I haven't been in the microphone for a long time, so I'm kind of chopping over my words. And so that's the first ward. And so a lot of people don't know that there's 2 other precincts on there, right? So before we get into the logistics and the demographics of that, first of all, Bryan Jones Chance, our first ward representative, welcome. Okay.
Thanks for having me on.
Good brother. How long have you been our first ward representative?
So almost 2 years. The way I got on council was a little strange. But yeah, it's been almost 2 years, I think about 18 months or so.
Okay. So how did you become interested, first of all, and want to represent the first ward? How did what because I know you were appointed, and we really don't have time to go into the backstory on how that happened and everything. It's a long backstory, right? But it needs to be told. But how did you decide that you wanted to be appointed and represent the first ward?
Yeah, well, I was serving on the DDA at the time. That's the Ypsi Downtown Development Authority. And a lot of people don't know how powerful that organization is, and so you should look into it.
Yeah, I know. I'm a DDA commissioner, so I know what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, I would say next to city council and planning, that's probably one of the most important commissions or boards in the city. I've been serving on the DDA because I'm a business owner. And I saw some things happening there that I didn't quite like. Me and a couple other folks decided to start a minority business organization to address some of the inequities that we saw. But then when the council position opened up, I thought it would be a good opportunity to give back to the city, because I grew up here. I'm the 5th of 6 generations of my family to live in Ward 1, and I just thought this was the time to, as a signal to keep moving forward and doing something for the city and for the ward. And I'm really into economic and racial justice, and that was really the best platform, I think, to start getting some things done.
Yeah. One of the things that I really respect and appreciate is that you're a hands-on person. And many a times you're out in Park Ridge Park in particular, either on your own or assisting Mr. John Brown, or assisting myself with park cleanup, maintenance, repairs even. And I joked with you yesterday as I was looking for a picture that I could put up there into the promotion from out of my camera roll and on Facebook. I couldn't find anything where you were just posing. You know what I mean? Like I joked with you last night about the Obama pose or whatever. You get what I mean? And I couldn't find anything, and I had utilized the one with your arms folded many a times, but I wanted to find something different. I say that because you're a hands-on guy, man. When the graffiti was painted on our basketball court, it was you who went up there and cleaned it up. You went out there on your own, where some kids had wrote on our basketball court that had fresh concrete just poured. You went out there and cleaned that up. Also, when some people had destroyed the wooden picnic tables.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. It was you who was up there nailing them, screwing them back together. Just recently, over the spring, when we had a cleanup at the flower bed at the top of the hill where the flagpole was at, it was you who took, yes, yeah, right, yeah. It was you who took your vehicle, went down to Waterworks Park and loaded it up with mulch. And it was you and another person who basically filled that flower bed in with mulch. So you're a hands-on guy, and a lot of people may not know you, but they would know your work if I were just to describe some of the things that's there. You and Mr. Brown, the weeds that are up along the back fence over there, but what we flexing call behind the Evans house and the Williams house. Those weeds can grow up to, I've seen them as high as 6 feet tall, as high as that fence. And they're deep, and these ain't just little bitty weeds. These are actually big stalks.
Yeah, these are like seedlings.
Yes, yeah, trees, right? And you and Mr. Brown go down and clean that up. I've also got pictures of you when the porta potties were turned over upside down, right? It was you who was there helping, assisted me. Me assisting. I can't remember, but we was trying to find a way that we was going to turn this porta potty back over. And you just said, "Come on, man, let's just turn it over." And I've got these images, right? So that's what you are in our community. You're a hands-on person, boots on the ground, hands in the soil person. At the level of city council, as a first ward representative, is there anything that you can point to that you're instrumental in bringing some change or some upliftment to the community as a city council person, if you will,
Yeah, and I think all that stuff ties in. Well, one, it demonstrates I'm really bad at self-promotion, because probably
so you didn't. I was looking at your response. You forgot all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, you probably didn't find any of those pictures on my Facebook.
Right.
I'm not good at
that.
No. But the other thing is, if you have the tools, do the work. And regardless, I had the tools, so I did the work. And the same thing is true of council. I think in our ward in particular, and on the south side in particular, we've been asking for a lot of resources and attention from the city for a while. But when I got to council, that's when I realized that how many tools we actually do have as a council person at our disposal to be able to do something. And so I think one of the first things I did was I looked through some of the old zoning codes that were put into place after the urban renewal happened in the 70s. Well, it was a longer process than that, but really culminated in the 70s. And just knowing about the business district and everything that was there, I decided to look into the zoning ordinances. And a lot of businesses that were there were excluded from this residential zone. So things like real estate offices, tailor shops, and military, like you can't have that in your house if you live on the south side, or really in any residential area. And if you think back to the history, all that stuff was in the neighborhood, and now it's legally excluded. That seems intentional, and it's not the fault of anybody living today. All those people are dead and gone, but it was still on the books. And I think probably my second or third week on council, I had got some folks together and we had that stuff taken out. And so now, if you didn't know, you can have those businesses in your homes if you want to, and that's part of a larger strategy going forward to bring more vibrancy and vitality.
Yeah, that's something I want to talk about too. Yeah.
Other things that you may be able to see are speed bumps. And I know everybody doesn't like them, but
that's what the people wanted.
That's right. And they work. So I was told there was this long process, and you had to have petitions and all this stuff from everybody who lived on the street. But that's not really the way council works, and that goes back to what the tools are. Council is a tool, and if all of us, or if a majority of us, agree on something, it happens, pretty much regardless of what the process is. And so the first step was we had some monitoring devices monitoring speed. We clocked people going 70 miles an hour on 2nd Avenue and on Burton Court.
Right.
Believe it or not, I don't know how you go 70 on Burton Court, but
they were doing it. Trust me, I live on Ainsworth Circle, so I can hear the cars reaching their speed. Right. And
so we got that down. We clocked the people, and then we got the speed bumps put down. So if you go down 2nd Ave now, speed bumps are there, and it has calmed down quite a bit. And so that's just something visual that you can see. The other thing was an adequate, and I say just an adequate police presence. And, you know, as a Black man, you know, I have a, you know, weird relationship with police. I don't, you know, I'm not particularly comfortable, you know, being around, you know, police officers in a one-on-one situation, certainly not in a traffic stop or anything like that. That's still very uncomfortable.
Yeah, we have history to show that sometimes it don't turn out good.
Exactly.
Yeah, most of the time it does, but we got some history that just don't turn out good with interaction with police officers, right?
I mean, and when because the downside is very severe.
Yes, right, exactly. Right.
And so what people wanted that because we had and we still have a very serious violence issue. And that was something very challenging to express, you know, for us Ward 1 representatives to express to our colleagues from other wards, because, you know, they're, you know, safety can be taken for granted if, you know, you're living safely. And people wanted some additional police. So we got the budget for 3 additional officers. And we were able to form a cop crew, which you may have seen around the neighborhood. And violence went down, you know, but that is something tangible, I think, that people can see. Now, I don't know if that's not the entire cause behind the reduction in violence, and we have a lot more work to do to make sure that we can improve upon that and keep that stable. But yeah, resource allocation is very important. And then the park bathrooms. I'm
gonna hold you up a second, Brian. The internet just completely went dead everywhere. Went dead here, and it went seriously. It went dead everywhere, and that's crazy.
I'm connected.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Oh, it's wired. Of course.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, Steve's
building.
Yeah. So, wow. I mean, I just lost everything. It's showing that I'm still recording, but change the connection type. Yeah, lost. Lost. I mean, the internet, like you say, I lost it here, and I lost it everywhere.